This is D1, our nephew, and we're a family that do this Gullah tour. We've been doing it for 14 years now, so we're the experts. We decided to show you other parts of Hilton Head that you probably would never see coming here as visitors. How many of you have been here before? You all new?
I live here.
You live here? Wow, that's a disadvantage. How you know all about it?
No, I haven't taken this tour.
You've never taken it to how long have you been living here?
4 years, almost 4 years.
4 years, oh man, you're relatively new. The Gullahs call you a Kamya.
Actually, I knew that part.
You knew that part, all right, you're a Kamya. Well, this is Honeyhorn Plantation that you're at, and the Gullah culture is very much impacted by something like this, Honeyhorn Plantation. How many of you have heard the term Gullah before?
Oh, yes.
Okay. What does it mean to you?
Huh?
What does it mean to you?
I don't even know.
You don't even remember? Just heard it, huh?
There was a show on Nickelodeon.
Gullah? Gullah Island?
Some time ago.
That's relative to the Gullah culture. That's a fictitious island, Gullah Island. But it was written and produced and acted by Gullah people, local Gullahs, in fact. Ron and Natalie Days.
What about Daughters of the Dust?
Daughters of the Dust is also that's a documentary.
Yeah,
That's a true story about Gullahs on Gullah Island. I don't know. I want to say it was St. Helena, but I'm not sure which island it was that they produced that documentary from. But that's basically how the Gullah culture has been marketing itself. Of course, you heard of the Hallelujah Singers. They're also folks that are Gullah, and they sing Gullah gospel. But the Gullah is a term that the scholars have given folks who've settled around the southeastern United States and have kept their African ways primarily. Most of the language and food ways and arts and crafts have been maintained over centuries. From Wilmington, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida, 30-mile inland along the coast is called Gullah Geechee Corridor. Gullah is a term that we think come from late in the slave trade when the folks that brought in came from Angola. Not Western African, but Southwestern African.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we think the folks called those folks the Gullah people because they were coming from Angola. And the others say that there are a rice-growing region in Sierra Leone that's called the Gullah region. Folks were brought here in the late 1600s, primarily from Western Africa, up until about early 1800s. In 1808, the English and Spanish, they abolished slave trade, declared it illegal. And from that point to about 1865, the Portuguese continued to bring slaves in. They were actually legally brought into the country, but they were still traded amongst the coast there. And of course, the original folks that came from Western Africa, they were very good at farming rice. So rice is a real staple. They've eaten rice for thousands of years. Gullah people eat rice, lots of rice. All right. Some people, when I was growing up on Hilton Head, they used to call us rice-eating Geechees. Geechee is the term that's synonymous with Gullah. Now, depending on who you're listening to, some folks that say the folks in Georgia call themselves Geechees, and the North Carolinians and South Carolinians call themselves Gullahs, but that's not true. In fact, when I grew up, I never heard the term Gullah until I was an adult. Okay, we all referred to ourselves as Geechee. I went to school in Georgia, and the Georgians, of course, many of them were Geechees themselves, call us Geechees. It's South Carolina Geechee. But that term, of course, like I said, probably came from the Portuguese. That's why Geechee. The Civil War impacted Hilton Head and the Gullah culture quite a bit. After the slaves were brought in to farm rice, the the planters along the southeastern coast, they shipped the cotton in the late 1700s, but they got very wealthy. And South Carolina was the first state to succeed the Union. They left out of the country to fight a war, saying they were tired of the fact that the Northerners were promoting the abolition of slavery, and Southerners wanted slavery to continue so they could continue to make money. They had gotten very wealthy. The South Carolinians were the wealthiest of them all. And they pulled out of the Union and started the Civil War. Well, the Northerners came into Hilton Head, in the Hilton Head area, when that war broke out. They brought their soldiers down here to the Hilton Head area, ran the Confederates out, and actually manned this area, the whole Port Royal area. That's what the area was called then, the Port Royal area. And they were, hi,
Good
how you
morning.
doing?
Good morning.
We're waiting just for you.
I know.
Hi, how you doing? Well,
Start over.
You know how it is when you come late.
I know.
You have to
I
catch up.
apologize. We got lost.
the Confederates left the area, and the Northerners kind of manned this area. Of course, a lot more happened. You know, the farm, the plantations that the Southerners had owned, they left those plantations. All the owners left the plantations and left them basically manned by soldiers and the slaves. Well, on Hilton Head, the slaves were freed in 1862, a year before the Emancipation Proclamation. And at that time, the government brought Northerners down. They appealed to Northerners, come down and help these slaves adjust. They are just freed, help them adjust to freedom. I mean, if you research it, it's called the Port Royal Experiment in the history books. But what they did is they brought Northerners down. There was twofold. They were coming down to help the slaves adjust, but they're also coming down to buy up the properties from out of the South. So they brought all of Hilton Head and all of these islands. Northerners purchased them. As they,
Carpetbaggers.
right. Well, the carpetbaggers did very good, but not just carpetbaggers. I mean, that was the Southern depiction of them. Right, but their idea was, let's take away the power.
You just started?
No, I've been going for 10 minutes. Y'all almost missed the whole show. How y'all doing? Got two more coming? All right, man. Thank God we got. That's why we built this in. We built this. Say it, talk, get acclimated into for people who, you know, can't get through that Hilton Head traffic.